Okay, so I've talked about this multiple times before, and ignore the background noises, my cats are being annoying. But yeah, so I've talked about this multiple times before about how people call certain non-K-pop groups K-pop, consider them K-pop when they're not K-pop and shouldn't be considered K-pop. And in my eyes, the groups that they call K-pop are not K-pop, and I will only consider them K-pop if they fulfill a certain criteria, meaning if they do something that will make me consider that can make me go like, yes, they're K-pop, they can be considered K-pop now in my eyes. So this shorts channel El Gato de las Weekly, y'all know them, y'all hate them, I hate them too. I am not subscribed to them, but I get curious at certain titles they've titled their videos, and not because of the title possibly being clickbait, but because of the fact that they title it in such a way that you want to open the video to know more. Like they'll title it like videos like this girl group has gone viral for doing so and so thing. This boy group has gone viral for doing so and so thing. This K-pop idol is getting a lot of backlash for this and that. So it makes you want to open the video because you want to know who. It makes you curious. Curiosity kills the cat. So they uploaded this video recently titled "The Sixth Generation of K-pop Begins." It is said that this girl group is starting it hashtag K-pop, and they're talking about the girl group Cosmosy, who they said in the video is to be upcoming, and they were formed by a K-pop creative director of groups like Blackpink, aespa, whoever, some K-pop groups. I don't remember. I remembered Blackpink they said, but some other K-pop groups also they mentioned, but I don't know who. So Cosmosi was formed by a K-pop creative director, right? A former K-pop creative director or something. And Cosmosi released the song Ziggy Ziggy, which I believe is their debut song, and it's in complete Japanese, right? So how can a girl group that sang in complete Japanese for the song Ziggy Ziggy, which I believe is their debut, be considered K-pop for y'all to be going like Cosmosi is possibly starting the sixth generation of K-pop? Them being formed by a creative director of K-pop groups does not make them K-pop. For me personally, if you're like formed by a K-pop company or formed by a creative K-pop director or anyone related to the K-pop industry who has worked in the K-pop industry but just singing in another language that is not Korean, to me that is not K-pop. Like for example, JYP forming NiziU and VCHA, um, Hype forming Cat's Eye, Hype forming and Team, which I believe are J-pop. Like groups like these, because Niziu and Ant Team sing in Japanese mostly, and what's that, VCHA and Cat's Eye sing in English mostly, like, so they are not considered K-pop. I will consider Niziu and Antin K-pop because they have released Korean versions, they have released Korean music. Like Niziu properly debuted in Korea in 2023 with the song Heart Twist, so I consider them K-pop because they sing in the Korean language. For me, a group has to sing in the Korean language for them to be considered K-pop. They are not considered K-pop if they don't sing in the Korean language. Being formed by a K-pop company or promoting in Korea or being formed by anyone related or who has worked in the K-pop industry or being like well known in Korea, even though you are not a Korean group, does not make you K-pop. If you're if you don't have any Korean members, like for example Black Swan having no Korean members or Unicode having all Japanese members, but you're singing in Korean, that makes you K-pop in my eyes, regardless of what type of members you have, whether you have Koreans in your group or not, whether you're formed by a K-pop company or not, whether whatever the reason is. For me, you have to sing in Korean to be considered a K-pop group. So Cosmosi is not even a K-pop group because they sang in complete Japanese. So how can they be a K-pop group for you to consider them possibly starting sixth generation of K-pop when they don't even sing in the Korean language? So I commented on El Delas Weekly's video, and I commented they're Japanese though, so they can't be counted as K-pop. And one person replies to me saying, however, they are created primarily with K-pop producer teams. And I commented back with, so they sing in Japanese, it doesn't make them K-pop. And that is true. This person says, however, they are created primarily with K-pop producer teams. So they they were created primarily with K-pop producer teams. So are they singing in Korean if they were created primarily with K-pop producer teams? No, they sang in complete Japanese. That does not make them K-pop. You cannot say that a group is K-pop if they are singing in Japanese, if they are singing in English, if they are singing in Thai, if they are singing in, like, any other language other than Korean. If that was the case, then you can consider Twice's Talk That Talk a Japanese song, because even though it's in Korean, you can consider it a Japanese song. You can consider Chunga's English releases Chunga's English releases as Thai music, because even though it's in English, it can be considered Thai music. You can consider any language's music, any other language songs, and it won't make a difference. Like I gave these examples. You can even consider any artist to be K-pop if you want to. If you consider Cosmosi to be considered K-pop, then why don't you say Ariana Grande is K-pop? Why don't you say Sabrina Carpenter is K-pop? Like, there are people who will put English songs in K-pop videos simply because the artist is K-pop. Maybe they'll put Japanese songs in K-pop videos because the artist is K-pop, and so they are okay with it. Like I made a video talking about English songs not being considered K-pop in my eyes, and I talked about where do you draw the line where you say that English songs by K-pop groups are K-pop, but if they were to move to the West and release music, will they still be considered K-pop? Where's the line drawn? So if y'all consider English songs by K-pop artists K-pop, and y'all wouldn't consider them as just like regular pop or Western pop or something like that, then as I said, why don't you consider Ariana Grande K-pop or Sabrina Carpenter K-pop? They're singing in the same language as K-pop groups are singing when they release English music. So why isn't Ariana Grande considered K-pop even though she sings only in English? Or Sabrina Carpenter even though she sings only in English? Or Chapel Roan? Or Taylor Swift? Or Demi Lovato? Or Katy Perry? Because there are groups like Twice releasing English music. There are groups like Blackpink releasing English music. There are groups like Stacy, I believe, released English versions of their music. G Idol has released English music and English versions of their music. And yet, you'll still consider these English songs and English versions as K pop. And if you'll do that, if you'll consider like Blackpink's, um, what song? Blackpink's, um, Love to Hate Me as K-pop. If some people out there consider Blackpink's Love to Hate Me as K-pop, then why don't y'all consider Katy Perry's Woman's World as K-pop? Why don't y'all consider um, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso as K-pop, Ariana Grande's Yes and as K-pop, Selena Gomez's Same Old Love as K-pop, Justin Bieber's Baby as K-pop? Because Blackpink's Love to Hate Me and Sabrina Carpenter's Taste and all the other songs that I mentioned are all in the same language. So if you can consider Blackpink's Love to Hate Me K-pop, I believe there are people out there who do that. Like, they consider this song particularly K-pop, but I've seen people consider English songs K-pop even though they are not in the Korean language. So if they can consider these songs K-pop, these English songs by K-pop artists, then why can't they consider any English song sung by any person from any language? If there's a Pakistani artist releasing an English song, why don't you consider their song K-pop? It's in the same language as Blackpink's Love to Hate Me or other songs that you'll possibly consider K-pop that are in the English language. If a Japanese artist is releasing an English song or a Thai artist, etc., why don't you do the same? Why do you only do it for K-pop artists? I don't understand y'all calling, you know, certain songs as K-pop and certain artists as K-pop, but in other contexts, in other scenarios, in other things, y'all wouldn't call those artists K-pop, even though they're the same as the artists y'all call K-pop. Like as I said with English songs, y'all call certain English songs by K-pop artists as K-pop. Y'all consider it K-pop. Y'all don't care at all. But then when it comes to Western artists, why don't y'all consider them K-pop? If a K-pop artist is rapping in English in a K-pop song, y'all will be like, y'all will make a video my favorite K-pop raps and then add that English rap into that, even though it's a rap in English, despite it being done by a K-pop artist, it's still in English. But yet y'all will add it to videos like my favorite K-pop rap, my favorite K-pop group raps, my favorite K-pop artist raps. But if you're adding that English rap into a K-pop based video, then why don't y'all add Ice Spice also into the video? Why don't you add Nicki Minaj into the video? Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, all of them are rapping in English, same as that K-pop idol who rapped in English that you would add into my favorite K-pop songs, even though the song is not in Korean. Like, I have a valid reason to believe that the song has to be in Korean in the language for it to be considered K-pop. Yes, there can be a little bit of what you call it, English in there. I wouldn't care about that. But if the song is primarily in Korean, then it's a Korean song. Same for other languages. If a song is primarily in Japanese, it's a Japanese song. If a song is primarily in Thai, it's a Thai song. It can include bits and pieces of other languages, the but if the language of the country overshadows the English, then I will consider it the music of that country. If someone is singing in Korean, but the song has English in it, but if the Korean overpowers the English, then that is completely a Korean. That I can consider K-pop because there's a lot of Korean in it over the English. But for y'all, what is your valid reason for believing certain English songs by K-pop artists can be considered K-pop, but then if it comes to Western artists, you wouldn't call them K-pop? How is Blackpink or Twice or Red Velvet K-pop if they release an English song and you would still consider that English song K-pop when you would not do the same by considering Ariana Grande K-pop or Katy Perry, Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, or any of these Western artists? Tell me. I want to know the reasoning. This is the reasoning I have to give. Like, it's literally so annoying and I don't like it. So, in conclusion, Comosy, I forgot their name already, who did Ziggy Ziggy, they are not K-pop to be for y'all to consider them, for y'all to consider them and be like they are possibly starting sixth generation because they sing in Japanese. How are they K-pop if they're singing in Japanese? Y'all need to get it into your heads that just because they are formed by K-pop companies or maybe a group is formed by someone working in K-pop or if they do K-pop related activities, it will not make them K-pop unless they sing in a language, right? That is like completely dumb for you to consider Comosy or I forgot the name as K-pop if they're not even singing in the language. Get it in your head.